was texting Sam.
Oh, good.
Oh, I just pinged him too, just in case.
Fuck yeah, do it. That's what they
Okay.
deserve.
We've done that one. Give us another one.
Oh, we'll call that a
Roll
dab.
better.
Been there, done that.
Ooh,
Boom.
just up
39.
Oh, this is an...
Hey, did you see that paper?
The
It's
paper?
terrible.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you like it.
That's
fucker.
good. That's good.
I know.
All right. So, question of the day. This is kind of an interesting one. Is there any particular weapon, item, etc., that your character longs to find?
That is a good question.
Right?
Sometimes when we're getting along with other particular circuses and Brodus and I were traveling, some of the clowns whispered occasionally, in the dark after
Mm-hmm. As they do,
a
yeah.
long circus run about a joke book that had the power to make anybody laugh until deciding they would stop, but it's hidden away because it was used nefarious by Bozo.
All right. An all-powerful joke book. I like it. This question is very side quest material. All right.
It makes me think about when we were doing our water deep thing, and Jinku always wanted all the hats.
Yeah. Right.
And the one time my hat got destroyed, and I was so angry for so long.
Yeah.
Maz would die happy if she ever found a crown made out of pure crystal with embedded shiny gemstones that she could wear.
Oh my god, you'd look so amazing.
All right. All right. How about you, Braz? Jinku was the hats. What's Braz about?
I don't think there's anything that Braz looks out for specifically for herself. I think she is on the lookout for that one perfect rock to give to Maz.
Hmm.
Oh my god, true love.
You know it.
I'm just imagining that one bit from a Rick and Morty episode with the perfectly level square of floor.
And it made him go insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too powerful.
I can't handle it. It's too level.
All right. All right.
Everything is wrong!
All right. So, it's been a moment, but what did we get up to last time? We did some big stuff. Given that we have to level up now, I'll get you the general area map here.
The big stuff. I don't remember any of it.
All right. So last time we were finishing up things at the Wellspring Tower. We had kind of arrived there at the end of the previous session, and so last time was the climb up it to get to the Aeon Stone and figure out what was causing it to have such a problem, which was kind of fucking up the region around here. And, again, there was, Zolgath business going on, but not entirely clear what exactly the plans were, but there was some sort of funky device up at the top of the tower that had been constructed Nobody was able to really make out exactly what from the notes because nobody could read that particular language. But we smashed it nonetheless, and whatever it was doing, it was siphoning off energy from the Aeon stone. And that has now ceased, bringing the Wellspring Tower back to full power. The water's flowing, the land is not blighted. And you got a new Aeon power from helping out that stone, which I believe was something with swimming. You're able to like breathe in the water, something like that. Let's see.
That sounds right.
Resonant reflection water. Here it is. It is.
Still getting. Yeah.
Hello.
Computer's being extra slow with the boot.
That's fine.
Sure.
We're still getting going. We're just recapping stuff last time. Yeah, we got the resonant water reflection, so now we have the ability to we have extra swim speed. Everybody has like a 10-foot more swim speed, and you can breathe underwater, and you can cast control water as like a 5th level innate divine spell once per day. So got some cool stuff there. And yeah, and we headed back after we cleared that out and got the water flowing and things. We headed back to Fernie, and we were letting the Shoonies know about the good news that things were cleared out, that their farms should be doing a little better now. And that's pretty much where we left it at. I am curious of Grotus's answer to the question today.
Right.
So the question of the day, Grotus, was: is there any particular weapon, item, etc., that your character longs to find? Yeah.
Grotus yearns for experiences and sensations and things that are less material. But Lord knows if he could have, let's see, his greatest joy would probably be it's hard to say. A set of nunchucks that he could helicopter fly around with. And just show up like Mary Poppins.
Okay, but what about a hat with two tankards of meat attached that you can sip from so you can stay hydrated on the go?
The ever-flowing tankard is a fine thing to have, but not what one man needs. You know, what a living thing should be able to find a drink or make a drink or get himself loaded up from, you know, the fruits of the land and the goodwill of the people.
Well, there goes Grotus's birthday present.
This is the way. This is the way of the road.
So hard for that hat.
She spent months looking.
Oh, that's great. All right.
Okay. A corn dog that heals itself when you bite it. That's one.
Ooh. That feels very circus appropriate. Think of the think of the savings you could have on like concession stand supplies if you sold like corn dogs that like people ate and they like returned magically to you somehow after they were eaten and refilled.
Just imagine people like eating trash corn dogs that other people have bitten.
How many people has this corn dog gone through? Yeah.
I just want a corn dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think a corn dog golem would be something we might invest in.
Okay, guys.
Corn dog go.
Oh my god, I want a corn dog golem.
Oh man.
Screw this session. We're going out for corn dogs.
Fuck yeah.
Corn dogs.
Party corn dog trip. Okay.
Ooh, what kind of wine pairs with a corn dog?
Probably a white wine. That or we can do corn dogs and margaritas.
I feel like
Ooh,
that
even
goes together a
better.
little better than wine.
Yeah. Tequila fixes
You want like a Lambrusco, a bubbly red that you can dip it in.
You can
No, I
dip
want
it
a
in.
margarita.
Yeah, margarita sounds good.
I'm trying to imagine like how the breading of a corn dog would taste, like soaked with wine.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that would be
Delicious.
so gross.
Fucking good, bro.
If you had the right wine, it'd be good.
Perhaps.
My grandma's yellow rice recipe was you make a little hole in it and you pour red wine into the saffron rice. So I'm imagining it's like that, but for the
Huh.
carny palate.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm just really hungry now. We need to move on.
Yeah. All right. So, with all the great stuff that we did, getting this new Aeon power and fixing one of the 3 towers in the Swordlands here, we did level up. So, you can level yourself up to 10.
On that note, Maz's sheet is broken again.
Are you kidding me?
Are you imaginary again? Or?
No, it says that I don't have a class. It says
Aw.
that I'm classless.
Well,
You ain't got no class.
I see you have a class. Rogue 9.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
When
curse
I
class.
try and say add a level, it says unable to level up, cannot find a valid linked class.
Oh, what? Oh, my fucking god. Class is linked to main task. Your link works correctly. Okay, let me try dragging the class. That's so weird. What the hell is up with that? Rogue.
I really feel like one of these days you just need to leave Fantasy Grounds open and just let me create a brand new sheet.
Probably.
The tracker that you currently have works as a great way to build a new character and know exactly, and get everything exactly, at least that way.
Okay. It should... Okay, it worked.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it? Okay, cool. Fixed it. Okay. So you should have... So you've got the ability boost, skill increase. Okay, you increase your skills. You can add a skill feat and a rogue feat. Okay, cool. Alright, so, yeah, if everyone wants to level yourselves up to 10, I hope all the rest of your character sheets are working, because I don't know what the hell's going on with these being so cursed.
I've never had a problem with mine.
Maz is just too cool.
Just too cool for the game. And we'll see if anybody got anything particularly interesting. Any cool new feats. And once we get all that out of the way, then we will begin our journey from Fernie to wherever we are deciding to go.
Our journey to Fernie. I'm sorry, I'm apparently 12 today.
12 and hungry for corn dogs. That checks
Fuck
out.
yes.
So you did increase my level, but it still does not recognize that I have a class, so I cannot add any feats.
Okay.
So like, I think we're just gonna like we can just leave it, and then we're just gonna have to have you open character sheet sometime.
So, like, does it like say anything when you're like?
No. Like okay, so if I gotta add a skill feat,
Mm-hmm.
it's just completely blank.
Huh.
It doesn't recognize that I exist pretty much.
That's so weird because I see them all when I click on those.
Yeah. My character sheet looks fine.
No. I mean, like when I click on those buttons, it does like show that list. Like that window is full.
Oh. I don't see anything.
There should be. Is this the same window as? No. Feats. You know what? I'm gonna try to look something up and see if I can find anything about that.
He seems very desperate to not have me just do a new character sheet when I'm fully willing to, because I don't actually know what the fuck I have on my character sheet anymore.
That's fair.
Like, I've had so many issues that I don't know anything.
It's a surprise every time you
I
open it up.
have no coherent, like, build, because I just, like, don't know what I have.
Sure, there's more optimal things, but the first thing that jumps out at me is flying kick.
That does sound cool.
Sounds really cool.
I mean, that seems pretty in line with Grotus winning nunchucks that can let him helicopter fly.
That does.
That's the thing, and also, like, I hate flying enemies, and I'm always trying to find ways to kick them.
So what does that let you do? Like how go a certain amount distance into the air?
You can make a leap or a long jump attempt with, like, I guess, an acrobatics roll. I'm gonna have to look at those rules more clearly. But if you land adjacent to an enemy, even if they're mid-air, if you can get adjacent to an enemy at the end of your leap, you can make an unarmed strike. And if your fall is no greater than your leap height, then you can land upright with no damage.
Cool. So just jump into the air and just...
Yeah, and so instead of like drop into a stance, move, attack, nothing else I can do, it's sort of like stance, like Raiden sounds.
Exactly. Cool. All right, that's neat. I will say, Riz, just looking at the, like looking at some of the rogue feats and things that you do have available to you. These have, got some interesting stuff. We can, like, doing more damage against creatures that aren't flat-footed. With, like, extra precision damage. Like, you get, like, an extra damage dice. Ooh, that would be kind of neat. There's like a rogue sidestep where if something is trying to attack you and you're next to, like, say another enemy, you can sidestep and, like, redirect their attack to the other thing next to you. That's kind of handy. Ooh. Opportunistic backstabs, where if an ally is hit by an enemy, you can capitalize on their distraction and stab them in the ass. That seems like a Maz skill. Well, cool. You got some good stuff.
If only I could select it.
I know. Yeah, well...
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, I'll have to set up another one here and copy inventory stuff and whatnot over, but at least with the tracker, that doesn't make that too hard. Thank goodness. I forget that the tracker thing, that isn't a thing in, like, the D&D side of Fantasy Grounds at all. Like, that's just a Pathfinder thing, yeah?
Correct.
Nice.
I like it. Makes leveling up so much easier.
It does, especially, yeah, since it, like, kind of just lays out exactly, like, what it is you need to do, and then here's the window with the things to pick from, instead of having to go...
Especially when, like, if you're leveling up where you have, like, a lot of things, it's just so much easier to keep track of it.
Oh, yeah. Don't have to go, like, digging through tables and books and being like, is this the right table? Oh, so nice. So
Since I have nothing to do, I'm gonna talk to Moog completely unrelated, but remember how I was telling you about the mural?
oh, the one on the side of the restaurant on Central
Yeah.
that I assume people are probably mad about.
Apparently someone saw that the actual like people that did the mural
Mm-hmm.
found out,
Oh,
and they say that it has been completely erased without prior notice or consultation, and they are taking this as a direct act of disrespect for art in the arts district of all places.
yeah, especially with this being the arts neighborhood. Yeah. So what are they doing about
And
it?
especially since it was like a cultural, like it was a Latin America cultural mural.
And it was really detailed too. It was really
Oh
good.
yeah, it was a beautiful mural.
Yeah, there was like, so yeah, for context, there was this restaurant that was kind of like in our neighborhood down the hill, and it was like, I can't remember exactly what all kind of food it has, but people liked it a lot. But it did end up closing a couple of months ago, I think. But the side of the building, there's a lot of buildings in our neighborhood, since this is like the arts neighborhood, that have murals from local artists and stuff, and their building was one of them. And there's been kind of question up in the air of like what was going in there. Like there was rumors that supposedly like there was like going to be like a fucking Starbucks going in there, which people were really mad about. Since it would have been like, you know, some local business being replaced with a fucking Starbucks, and people around here are kind of mad at Starbucks, understandably. And I don't know what is moved in there, but like somebody posting pictures in like the Northeast group, which is the arts neighborhood here, with you know, whoever is the new owner was just like blackout painting that entire side of the building, like over the entire mural, just and so everybody was super mad. But yeah, does it say that they're like doing anything about it, or are they? Is it just they're like, we're the artists and we're mad?
It's pretty much just we're the artists and we're mad and we're raising awareness that this happened.
Yeah, really great way for whatever the fuck that new business is to make the entire neighborhood hate you immediately. So congrats
What a
on.
business plan.
I know, right? Like congrats on failing before you began. Like there reminds me of, there was like a restaurant on like the south side of town, who, what was it? Like back, I think it was like back during the beginning of COVID or some other stuff. Whoever the owner was, had like a whole lot of just nasty shit to say about like trans folks and whatnot. And their restaurant is like in a very heavily LGBTQ neighborhood. They're gone now. That building is still boarded up. They fucking shot themselves in the foot. Like, oh no, I remember what it was. There was supposed to be some kind of like big event that was like happening there, like that was like for Pride, but like the owner like went on some like unhinged rant on like Facebook about like, you know, woke bullshit, trans folks, whatever. Even though his like restaurant was like hosting this event for like Pride Month or something a couple years ago or several years ago, and then, you know, that got out, and then it was like, okay, well, nope, we're canceling this, and then the restaurant died. It's like, I don't know what you expected, bud.
Some folks just gotta learn things the hard way. Okay, I am all done leveling up.
Anything cool?
I just got an alchemist feat and a general feat. So I got expanded splash, which when I throw bombs, especially large and powerful explosions, basically, if they have the splash trait, I can add my intelligence modifier to the usual splash damage.
Ooh.
And then it deals splash damage to every creature within 10 feet of the target.
Nice.
And then I took Titan Wrestler, so I can attempt to disarm, grapple, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 sizes larger than me, which is great because I'm pretty small.
I love that. That is great.
So I might start to get a little bit more into the middle of the shit.
Just bras going for the knees, like ah.
Fuck you.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, you get to add a +4 to your splash damage from your intelligence modifier. That is sick. Cool.
I should probably add that, or I'm not gonna remember to.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah, add that in.
I don't even know which ones I'll have splash. I better take a look.
I think there. I can't. I don't know. I don't know if you'd have to do it like if there's like a shorthand for it, like if you could just do like +int, or if you could do like +intelligence or whatever to have it like automatically reference that.
I always forget.
So that way, you know, if as we level up. Oh, how to do it? Let's see. It should be.
I always forget how to do this.
Okay, so in the actions. So if we're looking like I'm looking at your acid splash right now, I clicked on the little magnifying glass to roll it open, and I can see your little things here. And let's see if I click into. There it is. If you click into the magnifying glass next to like that splash damage line, it'll open up another window where you'll see this like math equation for damage with, and you might need to like drag the window a little bit bigger because it's kind of long. I had to be able to see like because you have like modifier 3 at the end there.
Okay.
So it looks like. I mean, it looks like there is a selection for int. Like under the category like mult stat or whatever. Under that stat one, if I cycle through that whole list, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, but I do see int. So
Okay, so if I add that to all those ones that have splash damage, it should just add it?
I think so. Because that basically should just change the math equation to int +3.
I think it did, because now it says 7 acid, and that's not what it was before. So I think it did add it.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah, because these are all 3 splash before, so that definitely works. So I'll go.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we can tie that to that, because that means if your int ever goes up from stat bonuses, you don't have to think about it. It's already applying to everything that uses it, so. Cool.
Which is great, because I think most of my alchemist stuff has splash damage.
I think so. Yeah, I think pretty much. I think aside from stuff that's like, you know, like net type stuff, like Tanglefoot bags or something like that, because I don't think those have any splash. I don't know how that would really work anyway. But yeah, any of like the elemental stuff, I'm pretty sure has some kind of.
That is going to be awesome.
That will be really nice. Well, nice. Anything else aside from the flying kick that you got, Grotus?
I can't wait to see you use that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I got some skill stuff to invest, but nothing else too crazy. I was looking at some other stances, but I think flying kick's right for Grotus.
Nice, nice. How about you, Honker? What new horrors are you going to unleash upon us?
Well, I got a couple feats. So I got a shameless request, which is kind of self-explanatory. You know, can make shameless requests. It lowers DCs for making absolutely ridiculous requests.
Okay.
And then courageous assault, which when I do my inspire courage, it allows, so it uses an action. I can use to do the courageous assault, and then another action for the inspire courage.
but that allows one ally to make a strike, like a melee strike against an enemy, as like an instant bonus action.
Okay. Okay. Nice. All right. Some good stuff.
And then there's like the unending hunger that I recently acquired. So.
Oh shit! I forgot to get some new alchemist items.
Oh yeah.
Always forget.
All right. Well, it sounds like things are getting pretty well cleared up. Aside from your your busted sheet.
But move.
Mm. Oh no.
Goostra.
The goose trap. That's great. But yeah, so with our level ups all basically sorted here. So yeah, last we left off, we were in Fernie, celebrating with the Shoonies. They're all, they were already pretty happy about all you guys. They loved your show, and they loved the saving of the couple of them from the land sharks. But now the farms are going to be good again. So you've restored the blessings of the land. So we do have a few things. So just to kind of recap of stuff that we know that's going on, so we can decide where we want to go. Since this again, this chapter's fairly open in terms of direction, so a lot of this is kind of up to you guys where you want, or whatever you're particularly interested in at the moment. So we have 2 other towers that we have to sort out eventually. There's the Life Root Stone, which is kind of way to the south of Carrick by Castonlee. And there is the Old Forest Tower, which is kind of way to the southeast in the Immenwood by Turpin Row. So those are kind of the 2 main story quest towers. There's also this kind of whole side thing going on with Opper Vandy and this weird haunting business that he thinks is going on that is killing people. And so we still haven't really gotten to the bottom of what that is or how to solve what it is. We got a little bit of information when we went to that old Kuru's place out here by Matt and Cleve, but not really clear what exactly it is that's doing this to him. So that's kind of still up in the air. There was a Shoonie that we rescued that had a relative who liked to sing to the dead. They were some sort of like grave keeper, tender, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they were in Castonlee. Let's see. We had at one point tried to go talk to the clergy of Carrick about the weird ghost business, but they were not there. They are currently in Turpin Row because there was a festival down there that they're overseeing or doing some sort of business with. I think those are all of the main things that we know of right now.
And our last show was in which town again?
The last show so far in the Swordlands, you guys have done a show in Carrick, and that is it so far. You've been requested to do 3 other shows on your travels around. They want you to do a show in Matt and Cleve. They want you to do a show in Castonlee, and they want you to do a show in Turpin Row.
Oh, I'm really quick because I just added my alchemist items. I just got something that you're gonna like, Rotus.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Bravo's Brew. This flask of foaming beer grants courage. For the next hour after drinking it, you gain an item bonus to will saves, which is greater when attempting will saves against fear.
Nice.
I'd almost forgot the taste of fears.
We're just gonna open every fight with like Grotus just shooting his hand up and being like, "Chug me a brewski."
I saw that one and immediately thought of Grotus, and I had to pick it.
That's good. That'll be good. I like that.
Rather than the helmet of unlimited drinking, he would have a satchel of unlimited cans to shotgun and crush against his forehead.
And it automatically recycles the aluminum.
Look at us. Being green.
Yeah.
I don't see Mattencleave on the map.
Mattencleave is kind of up to the north.
Yeah, it's north of Carrick.
Yeah, it's like if you're looking at Carrick, you go up the coast.
I see it.
So this is where we've kind of been around so far because the Wellspring Tower is up here, Fernie's up here. We've been to Mattencleave a few times. So yeah, like we've kind of been around here. So I mean, you could bring the circus up here now. That said, this is still pretty close to Carrick, and a massive chunk of the people who came to see you was the entire population of Fernie. So I mean, you could still do that now as an immediate celebration for what's going on here, or we could have that be like a victory tour at the end after the other two. After the area's gotten a little more time to recoup. That's up to you guys.
We could head to Castonlee and let the anticipation build around here.
Sure.
Where are we at? Vis-a-vis the mysterious deaths.
So, in terms of the mysterious deaths, what we know so far, we had. Let me just pull up that.
I'm so sorry if you already went over this and I missed it.
No, I didn't go into the specific details. I just mentioned that was one of the things going on. Let's see. So, let's see, where is it? The Haunting of Upper Vandy. Here it is. Okay. So, we had found out that there were... So from Vandy, we had found out that the first victim that he recalls after he had this whole, the first, nightmare episode that he had, where he saw this, ghostly little girl with hollow eyes dressed in, funeral clothes that he didn't recognize as anybody that he'd ever tended to in his funeral home. Haunting him, and then, waking up in the middle of the night, and then going down to the parlor and, pointing ominously at the place where the coffins go in the viewing parlor, and then the next day there is someone new that has died that is now there on the viewing parlor. But the first one that he recalled was an old man, an old farmer named Carew, who lived near Mattencleave. You guys went and investigated his place, which was definitely having some weird haunting business going on. At least from what Opera Vandy described, this guy Carew, and at least from what you found out about him from around the town of Mattencleave, he was not very well liked. Very grumpy old man, just really kind of bitter, hateful person, and that still seems to have manifested at his place. So there was a haunt there. And there was, I believe there was a specific bit of details in, let me pull it up here. Here it is. You had heard from the kind of ravings of his hateful spirit that manifests in his room at that farm. Old Lady Swinton's broke. Roger Swinton can rot in his grave. Should have sold me that acre, Roger. Your widow's gonna starve. Don't tell her about Vandy. No, no. Now Vandy's money is blood money now. She rides with spurs of fire, the night lady. Oh, the fire it burns. So that's what his kind of spirit was raving about. You guys have also found out from asking the town. You guys went to the town hall and found out that there were 21 swordfolk who had died in their sleep over the last 14 months. There wasn't anything in particular that seemed to be connecting to the deaths. There were various ages, ancestries, occupations, health. But yeah, there wasn't any sort of, pattern to them. Just random.
An acre of land. And just to be clear, it was Swindon?
Swinton, yeah. Swinton is the name that this old farmer was raving about.
Should have sold me that acre of land. Swinton, now your wife will suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, here, I'll get it for you here again. Let's see. So, Old Crew's Place. There it is. Carew. Haunt. Sealed room. Yeah. Old Lady Swinton's broke. Roger Swinton can rot in his grave. Should have sold me that acre, Roger. Your widow is going to starve. Don't tell her about Vandy. Now Vandy's money is blood money now. She rides with spurs of fire, the night lady, the fire it burns.
The night lady.
The night lady.
I feel like the night lady with fire it burns seems like something somebody with more knowledge of religion or occultism should know something about.
Yeah, something worth looking into.
And then also the Swinton family history. Do we know much about where they were or who they were?
You guys did ask in Matt and Cleve, because you guys had, after you guys rescued the Shunies, you went to Carew's place first, and then you guys went to Matt and Cleve, and you did ask around about the Swintons there, and from what you heard, there aren't any Swintons anymore. But they used to be a family that lived near Matt and Cleve, and something happened to them, and they all died. But they were like a well-liked family there in the area, so people were kind of sad about it. But yeah, some misfortune had befallen that family, and they all passed away.
Well, I mean, we need to pass through Matt and Cleve anyway to get to Caston Lee.
Yeah, since you guys were up in Fernie, it's a bit of a hike to get all the way down to Caston Lee. So
yeah,
we're gonna have some road adventures.
Yeah, we're gonna have to swing through Carrick again, which means we can pay a visit to Opper Vandy after we get some more Matt and Cleve lore. Maybe we can find something to put the screws to him and get him to squeal about something, because he must have some money which is now blood money. But I think we should do our homework first on anything we can find out about Swindon family land and anything we can find out about the night lady burning eyes flying through the sky, and then hopefully we'll have enough notes to catch him in a lie.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean,
also,
and
saying somebody can rot in their grave is not really an insult. That's literally what happens.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That is what they're for.
Rotting in the grave is a lot better than rotting on the side of the road. I'll tell you that.
Man, how stupid they must feel now.
Starvation's a shitty way to go, though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think the other things that you found out related to this. So one thing that you did find, because there was that, you guys had heard about, this, these children that were alone near Matt and Cleve, and they were that little acrobatic trio, and their grandmother was really devout follower of can't remember which god right now, but she had passed. Yeah, you recruited them. They were in the circus with you. The Sirens of the Spheres. So yeah, you did recruit them, but in the process of investigating that, you found out that like their grandmother, who had passed away somewhat recently, and they were just kind of squatting in her house since she was gone. Had like reported terrible nightmares before she died. And so, there was something with that. You'd also heard similar word because there was the most recent death, which was currently being viewed at Opera Vandy's place. You had gone and talked to the family for them, and there had also been some mention of, they had suddenly become unwell, or trouble sleeping, something like that, leading up to them, suddenly passing away. So you've heard that a few times in your investigations around here. Let's see. So you've got that. You've got the stuff the spirit was raving about. I think those are like the two main things that we've found out so far with that.
So we got Swinton's. We should follow our new act, the Celestial Trio, right?
With those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were recruited. They performed in the last circus you guys did in Carrick. Like
they're called the Celestial Trio, and it was their grandmother who died from nightmares recently.
Yeah, the Sirens of the Spheres was them.
Sirens of the Spheres. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, they had told you. Oh yeah, here it is. Their grandmother. Well, they and their grandmother were, mainly because of her. She was a devout follower of the god Desna, which was a god of. I have this up here. They're very nice, kind of benevolent god. They're the god of. This isn't the page I was looking at. I don't need all of her history. Kind of like freedom and nature and travelers and just kind of almost kind of like a free spirit kind of god, it seems. Her symbol is like a big purple butterfly with like stars. But yeah, she and her grandchildren are very devout followers. Like when they did their performance at the last circus, like they did all this song and dance and were singing about Desna and like granting Desna's blessings and whatnot. But yeah, they had said that when their grandmother had passed away, that she had mentioned that she was having nightmares and then just got weaker and weaker and then died.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely need some more leads on that. 'Cause, I've been trying to think about that, and I still haven't figured it out.
Indeed.
I think the Swinton sounds like the source of the curse, and this lady in the night with burning eyes screaming through the sky as a result, something brought forth, fed, or created from this enmity. Dr. Vandy knows more than he lets on.
All right.
We might talk to the Sirens of the Spheres about places their grandma had been recently, things that she'd done before the nightmares.
Okay.
I mean, we might, just chat them up congenially and sympathetically while we travel.
Sure. Yeah, they are. So the circus is still the main bulk of the circus is still currently in Carrick. They aren't like actively following you around everywhere you go. They move when you direct them to move the circus, and they will just kind of go where they're directed. But yeah, so when you guys pass through Carrick, you can swing by the big top and chat them up there.
Okay. Then I guess we gotta start marching, and we'll pass through Matt and Cleve and take one more look at the Swinton place.
Okay. All right. So let's see. So you guys travel from Fernie to Matt and Cleve, and once again, Matt and Cleve, very very small, like barely even a town. It's more of just kind of a collection of kind of a collective location for all of the farmers in the area. So they kind of gather goods here and then go off elsewhere. So there are some like small amenities. There's like a tavern, an inn, and some stuff like that. But most of like the housing is the farms that are out in the fields. But you ask around at the taverns and the people around again about the Swintons. Are you guys? I don't. We hadn't been to the Swintons' place. Are you guys trying to find out like where that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a. It's not. I think it's just perception. There isn't an. I guess it'd be just like a society. Is that one of the skills? Society.
And I have the feat for discreet inquiry.
Ooh, okay.
Skill feat. You are subtle in your efforts to learn the things you need to know. When gathering information, capitals, you can hide the true subject of your inquiry, among other topics of little interest to you, without increasing the difficulty for the check or taking more time. Anyone trying to gather information, da-da-da-da.
Okay. So you can get them blabbing, and then just kind of among all of it, they just happen to drop the stuff you're looking for.
But nobody needs to know that we're looking into this specifically.
Okay. Yeah. So you just kind of get chatty with people about the area and about things that have happened, what's going on, things like that. So yeah, go ahead and roll me that society check with whatever bonuses it is that grants you.
Didn't add any bonuses. Just make sure I don't take any penalties.
Oh, you just don't take any penalties. Okay. All right. So with that, you do manage to find out. It's like you get the farmers talking that are in the area, and of course, the big kind of topic as of late, of course, has been the problems with the crops because of the Wellspring Tower, and there's already some buzz around the town a bit because people have noticed that the tower, like the stone above the tower floating up there, seems a little brighter than it did. The land that's around the tower that was starting to get all blighted and weird seems to have receded. There's news that the water is flowing again out of it. Like there's streams that came out of that went throughout the area, and there's been reports that the water is flowing again. So like there is some buzz around this. So people are kind of excited to talk about like all this terrible stuff that's happened to our farms recently. We're finally going to be back on the up and up. Maybe the harvest will actually be decent this year. It's not too late yet, so maybe we'll still have a good time for a growing season, stuff like that. And as you get people kind of talking about these hard times that happen, they mention, somebody mentions in passing about the, if only Roger Swinton had been here to see this, and you hear in passing that like whenever what it was that happened to them, that was like a decade ago that whatever misfortune befell the Swinton family happened, and they all died. So it's been a long time. And you find out that their particular farm was actually right down near Old Kuru's place. They were neighbors.
Interesting.
Oh, it's surprising.
Yeah, so the Swintons died 10 years ago. Uh, Kuru, so this I believe you had known from Opera Bandy telling you about him. Kuru had died a little over a year ago because this whole weird business with people dying started about 14 months ago, and he was the first. So whatever thing he knew about, he'd evidently been bitterly hateful or whatever about it for a long time.
Well, that's no way to live.
Yeah.
So just to summarize from my notes, I'm saying as Columbo ruffles his hair and straightens his trench coat. We got old Kuru, who was hateful toward the Swindons. He's questioning one of the peasants at the bar.
Swintons.
So neighbors hating neighbors, a spike fence gets built, the hedges are 2 yards too far into my property line. Things get contentious.
Well, he was a bitter old man. His heart was full of hate. The Swintons never did anybody wrong. They were a good family, but old man Kuru, he delighted in the suffering of others. And seeing the Swintons have misfortune befall them and pass away brought sick joy to his bitter, cold heart.
Sounds like a real piece of work. Not a church-going man, was he? Did he have any sort of affiliations of the spiritual nature?
Kuru, goodness no. He had not the heart to step in that kind of edifice. I doubt. I fear he would have burned up on the spot.
Any aware of strange jewelry? Man liked a certain type of symbol or iconography?
No, he was just an ass.
The donkey it was then. So Grotus starts to say, well, thank you, pal. I like hearing about the color and the character of any place we come through and brighten up. And he starts walking away and then scratches the back of his head. One more thing. See, he keeps gnawing at me. Old Lady Swinton. When was the last time anybody saw her?
Well, last time anybody saw any of them was, well, nigh a decade ago. They all passed away.
And you said from what again? Congenital heart disease?
Let me see if people actually know anything about that. 1 second here.
Because I can't believe it. You're telling me. I'm still sticking to the Columbo shtick.
Right.
You're telling me a beloved family, generations built into this town with deep roots, starts to wither on the vine, and no one says boo. Old Lady Swinton shrinks and starves.
Okay. So, here is what you find out about what happened. So, Roger Swinton, beloved member of the community, he died in a farming accident. There was something with the equipment. These things happen. Farm equipment's no joke. Got severely injured, passed away. His wife and children, they survived him for a little while, but they fell on hard times financially, and eventually the farm that they owned went into arrears, and because they weren't able to financially afford it anymore. And let's see. Yeah, like the financial hardship and like the loss of their home, from that kind of broke up the family because there was his wife and two kids, a daughter and a son. The daughter was very very young, very young girl, and like she and her mother, passed away. They weren't able to, like after the home got repossessed, they didn't really have anywhere to go, and they weren't able to survive very long on their own. And their other son, who was a little bit older, uh, evidently he was a bit of a wastrel. He was a bit of a drunk, and not long after he drowned. And so that was the end of the Swinton line. They were all gone.
Interesting. I've also got a curiosity about any other families around here, because somebody asked me to look up some old contacts around here. Anybody cousin of the Vandys?
Nobody that was related to the Vandys.
Any reason an Opera Vandy ever come around here?
Well, I mean, Mr. Vandy is the well-known mortician out of Carrick, but he services all of the Swordlands. But he's not originally from around here. I believe he came from Absalom.
About how long's he been around these parts?
Let's see. He has been in these parts approximately somewhere between 15 and 20 years.
Okay. I appreciate your time. Then you enjoy your beer.
They will.
I guess we should check out Carew's place then, and then the neighboring acre.
All right. So you guys head out of Matt and Cleve back toward Carew's place, and once again, as you get kind of, the trail that leads out to that way is pretty abandoned, pretty overgrown, much as it was the last time you guys walked this little path here. And especially when you get kind of close to the property, this haunt that is happening with the manifestation of Old Man Carew's bitter, hateful spirit is still in full force around here. So there's just a weird aura in the air because his spirit just hangs out here and is pissed forever. Then you do see, you heard about they were neighbors, and you kind of look around the area here, and you do see a little ways to the east, what looks like the remains of a farmhouse, and some other farm buildings that are heavily in disrepair. Somewhat ways away, there's clearly some kind of crumbling, rotting fence delineation between the two along the way, but it does seem that there used to be some plot of land over there and a home, but it has kind of long since fallen to the elements.
Poke around for personal effects.
Sure. Give me a perception check. Okay. Alright, so you guys head over to the remains of the Swinton homestead. And there's not really much to speak of outside of this shell of a home. The ceiling has fallen in. Everything is kind of leaning You know, much of the walls are still up, but you know the whole house has got that kind of like to it that you get from houses that are not in good maintenance status. And in terms of like personal effects, like you aren't able to really get inside very well because everything is kind of collapsed in on itself. But like from what you can see in there, if there is any like furniture or anything in there, it's eaten away by vermin, or picked apart by fowl, or rotted in the wind and the snow and the whatever of the weather that has happened in the ensuing decade since this fell into disrepair. There's nothing particularly of note. It just seems like it is a place with, long forgotten memories, and that's it.
Well, in the absence of any business contracts left behind with Opera Vandy's name on them, then we should probably mosey on back to Carrick.
Yeah, definitely nothing of that sort. And, if there was, probably would not have survived the elements by this point. Alright, so you guys start heading your way from this back down to Carrick with, maybe a little more information in your pocket about these Swintons, but still nothing conclusive. As you are kind of heading down the road here between Cleve and Carrick, the kind of just the quiet ambience of nature as you go down the verdant passageway is broken by the whistling of arrows and the echoing of loud shouts, and 3 colorful arrow shafts land quivering in the center of the road, directly in front of you, of your group, as you're walking down, and the bushes on the sides of the road rustle with movement, and a single clear voice calls, "Stand and deliver, scoundrels, or the devil take your guts!" And you see a lone human figure who steps out into the roadway, clad all in kind of browns and greens, and with bits of grass and leaves tied to their clothing to kind of, somewhat help with concealment. They have a wide-brimmed hat, and they have a mask over their head, which seems to be a small burlap sack they've cut some eye holes out of. And they hold 2 hand crossbows, one in each hand, trained on all of you.
Grotus steps forward, arms spread wide.
Temba, his arms wide.
Okay, I was thinking that exact thing.
Dharma, Angela, back to Nagra.
Oh man. All right, so you step out in front of these, your arms wide,
and just say, like, brother, if you're gonna do something, you can come take it. I'd love it. Take it from me.
Did you sneak some of that courage juice?
Yeah, this is just Grotus just balls out. Like, yeah, come take it.
All right. So as you kind of just step forward confidently without really any like fear or concern in your voice, just like, yeah, okay. They seem a little taken aback by this. As you kind of look them over, standing here in front of you, give me another perception check. Okay. So you're kind of giving this ruffian who has accosted you in the road a once-over here from your intimidating stance. And you from the looks of them, like, you guys are Kearney folks. You guys have been around rough folks before. They don't have the look of banditry to you. They look green, and not just because of the clothes. They look green. Um, they look inexperienced, and especially in terms of, uh, accosting people on the road. They certainly seem, in their reaction to you, they aren't used to resistance or someone who doesn't immediately panic. So they don't seem to know what to do. You can see you can see, from what you can see of their eyes in the burlap sack they're wearing on their head. You can see their eyes kind of darting to the left and to the right, to the bushes on either side of the road, where you guys have kind of continued to hear like rustling in them of supposed compatriots of this bandit, and they seem at a bit of a loss. You can see them just kind of continuing to kind of hold their hand crossbows at you, maybe trembling a little bit, but they're trying to keep them pointed at you and be like, "Give us what you got."
I already said you can have it. I give up. You win. Don't you know what to do next?
Just like
Put it on the ground. Put it on the ground. Don't take out any weapons. Just put it on the ground, and be on your way.
Bonker falls to the ground and acts completely like a doll.
Yeah, you better put your hands up and not take out any weapons. Wing.
These are my weapons. They're already out.
Curtis says, all right, you called my bluff. I don't have any money. You should shoot me now.
All right, roll me an intimidation check.
I'm gonna hero point that one.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you tell this bandit to shoot you, and this in particular, with everything else, they don't seem to know what to do, and they you can see them kind of continuing to, like, their eyes darting back and forth between the bushes, and eventually you see them just kind of look over to the right, and they kind of look at you one last time, and they just kind of like dive back into the bush on the right side of the road.
All right, guys. You're right. I don't have any money, but I'll share some weed. We just need to get back to Carrick. Y'all know any good pot dealers or people who can pretend to be audience members?
And you can see, like, the hat, which was still kind of poking out of the bush at this point, as that they had jumped into. It kind of raises back up, and you see that the burlap sack with the eyes kind of poke back out of the bush here. And then eventually she after a moment, she just kind of stands back up, and she's like, "Are you not from around here?"
Don't we look like locals? We try to blend in. Just kind of like rips a fart and and then like honker's nose a little bit. Like,
I mean,
oh man, I
You're just gonna completely confuse them.
I thought we were pulling it off. I thought I was passing. Shit.
So
It seems like you guys are new to this line of work, and you could probably use better employment. To be honest, you kind of suck at it. It'd be a real shame for me to gouge your eyes out with my thumbs.
And he can do it.
I'm not even wearing my good teeth. It'll take a minute before I rip your throat out. You don't want that.
So she she takes off her hat and takes off the burlap sack. And here, I actually have a picture of her here. That's nice. But she kind of looks at you here, and she's like, "Look, times have been hard around here. We gotta do what we gotta do to survive. Usually the folks on this road are just simple farming folk that don't give us too much trouble. I don't know what you are. I don't know where you're from or what weird business you're up to. I I don't want to die. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to survive. Please, you just keep going. Just keep going to Carrick. We're not doing this."
It's not in my nature to leave other people to get robbed. Means you find better employment, or we just make sure everyone else is safer. Hardworking people shouldn't get mugged.
And she kind of drops the two hand crossbows to her sides here, and she's like, "I don't know what else to do. I don't have, well, the money to feed ourselves or take care of my brother who's ill. We don't know what's wrong with him. But we're just, the only thing we could think of to do. It seemed easy. I guess not. Didn't really expect something like this."
I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I hear where you're coming from, but you're just too fucking stupid. You missed the other option besides crime. Fun crime. Run away and join the circus. Don't rob farmers, dipshit.
It's gonna be our new recruitment slogan.
How do you decide to not just run away and join? How is that never on the table? You people confuse me.
I don't really know much about that sort of thing, and well, I don't think my brother would be able to do any running or circus work as it is. He's very weak. He's had trouble sleeping.
So, Grotus is kind of
trouble sleeping.
He's got bad dreams.
I don't know for sure, but he gets these terrible sweats in the night. These past few days, he suddenly fell very ill, and he hasn't been able to really move. It's like all his energy is gone.
You need to take a swim now.
Grotus steps forward, arms still kind of stretched out. We can figure out what happened to your brother if that'll get you off these streets. Either way, I'm ending some bandits.
You could see her just kind of nervously nod, hoping that the ending is not a violent one.
Save the boy? Save the boy. You love it. Okay.
All right. So she agrees to let you and your strange company who have caught her off guard to take you over to their camp, which is really not that far away. It's like kind of like just around the bend behind like a copse of trees. And you get over there, and like it's her, and she has a couple others with her, who were in the bushes as well, that'll come along. She, as you guys kind of go along the way, she's kind of has a bit of conversation with you, and you find out that they were calling themselves the Bitter Truth Gang, and you were right. They are very new to this. And the only reason they really got together was because of the hardships facing the Swordlands region, and haven't really gotten that much of a reputation yet because they've only gone after really really easy marks on the road. nobody's like died. They haven't like killed anybody, but they've just frightened some poor farmers out of their coin, and perhaps some provisions. But they do take you back to their camp, and their camp is, you find 5 horses that they have kind of posted up and tied to posts, and their 5th gang member, who she you assume is her brother, and he is inside of a tent here, very fatigued, and you see he's definitely been sweating a whole lot, whether that's from some sort of fever or something or other. But he very he sees you all come in along with his sister here, and he looks up and he says, "Tanessa, what? Who are these people? What are they doing?"
We are the Circus of Wayward Wonders. We're gonna fix you.
Yeah, I want to immediately start examining him.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a medicine check. Okay. And as you're doing this like medicine check on him, are you like asking him anything at all?
First, I want to just kind of look at him. I'm probably kind of like feeling things on him.
Okay. All right.
I'm doing a physical exam.
Physical exam. Okay, so from looking him over, like he is extremely fatigued and drained. Like you are honestly surprised that he is awake at all at this point. He does not seem to have like barely any energy left. Incredibly weak. He pretty much seems on the edge.
Okay. I'll ask his sister. Have you been giving him anything to eat or drink? Is he able to take anything in?
So Tanessa, she says, yes, we've tried. We've given him water. We've, cooked up some food nice and soft for him, and he does try to eat it, but it doesn't seem to give him any strength. Perhaps it's keeping him alive, but he doesn't seem to get any stronger. He only has seemed to get weaker these past couple of days.
And none of you have experienced anything similar?
No, nothing similar. No strange maladies or symptoms of that sort. We've all been perfectly fine.
Your life depends on it. You come into any strange coin recently?
I mean, not any particularly strange coin that we know of. I mean,
Black money.
There were, farmers and travelers on the road that we had accosted, but we, didn't do them any particular grievous harm. Just a little roughing up and, a little shakedown for some regular coin, but no, nothing overtly, deathly violent or anything of that sort. No blood has been spilt. Maybe a few bruises.
What's happening in your dreams?
All right, so you inquire of his dreams here, and he kind of looks at you weakly here, and he's like, 2 nights ago, I started having these terrible nightmares of a black horse with glowing eyes and hooves of flame, and I assume it is just something to do with this illness. You fall ill and you see strange things. But yeah, all of my dreams have been filled with this black horse.
You said it started 2 nights ago.
Yes.
What happened 2 days ago?
Nothing of note. It was another regular day. No strange persons, no interesting encounters. Just another day in the Swordlands. And then suddenly this. I don't know.
Did you rob anybody that day?
I believe we had, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Just another passing, vegetable farmer. We got a few potatoes.
Were they pretty good potatoes? Did you get any money or just potatoes?
I can't really remember right now. Like Tanessa kind of speaks up and she says, "Yeah, there was a little coin we got off of them too, but yeah, they were just another local farmer, like all the others that we'd roughed up."
You wouldn't happen to be the firstborn of your family, are you?
Let's see.
If you have to guess, probably not.
They.
Well, son, if you don't know, there's probably others.
As far as he knows, no, but he and Tanessa are twins. They're not identical twins, but they are. I can't remember the other name.
Fraternal. Twins.
Fraternal.
Yeah. Are you and Tanessa? Nothing going on with you lately?
She shakes her head. No.
Where have you been that she hasn't? What have you done that she hasn't?
We've all been together. Our little gang here. We've all been together for the last couple of weeks, really. Like I said, I told you on the way over here, we're fairly new to this. This was born out of desperation. But yeah, we've all been together as a gang.
Well, buddy, I got real bad news for you. Bad news. Well,
I jump up and I honk my nose and I say, "You're gonna die."
Oh, thank you, Honker. Thank you. That was
great bedside manner. Just fantastic.
I was having trouble saying. I'm so glad you. That he's exactly. Yeah, Honker. They are exactly right. Right on the nose. Honk honk.
You both have a terrible bedside manner.
And what's even worse is that if your sister and her friends keep on robbing people, I'm gonna have to kill them. It's so the whole all sides of it really blows. I'm sorry.
He doesn't really know, like, Tanner here. His name's Tanner, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, Tanner and Tanessa. He doesn't really know how to react to this. I mean, he's like, being as he is, like, basically on the edge of it already. It doesn't seem too surprising to him. He feels like death already. Tanessa doesn't look too happy about that proclamation, though. And she kind of kneels down and, like, holds onto his hand.
I'm just stumped. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
I don't know, man, but that horse sounds like a death omen, so you should watch yourself. Or wait, was I not supposed to say that out loud?
We already told the kid he's gonna die. It's fine.
Recently taken up to banditry. 2 days ago, started having the dreams.
Do you have any religious affiliates?
Any what?
Are y'all religious at all?
Religious. Uh,
Worship any gods?
Tanessa just kind of shakes her head like, no, nothing in particular. I mean, our family growing up, worshipped Abadar, but I mean, I can't really say we actively practice.
What are we missing here, gang?
Don't know. I got nothing.
My last guess was the connection to the murders would be the blood money mentioned. Opera Bandy's blood money. You guys didn't make any corpses recently. You said, I know your merry band of ruffians ain't hurt a fly, but for real though.
Sure and true. We haven't had to do any grievous harm to anybody. Like I said, we roughed some people up, given some people a few bruises, some shakes, but we haven't cleaved anyone asunder or anything like that.
Do you know who the farmer is that you robbed the other day?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I didn't figure you would, keep a notebook or anything, because pretty dumb anyway.
Don't keep a ledger who you robbed.
Here is our robbing evidence notebook and all of the people that we robbed.
First, middle, last name, date of birth as we take your money, please.
The funny numbers on the back of their credit card.
Complete inventory of what you have on you.
Well, kiddos, it's hard to say, I guess, We'll let you know if we find anything else out. You let us know if you got any tidbits for us. Best we can do is find more information further down the road, if you'll allow it.
Yes, of course. I mean, I understand that it's a strange affliction my brother has, but I mean, I don't intend to do you. And thanks for coming and taking a look at him, but we should let him rest.
Yeah, because he's gonna die.
Yeah, unless
you can see her like trying to not have a breakdown, like in her eyes, but she's just kind of like, okay.
Maybe you shouldn't have been robbers, huh?
Damn.
I need you to walk away right now, Hunter. Look, it's just, we're not trying to scare you or be mean, but honestly, this is not the first time this has happened, this weird affliction.
Oh? And nobody knows what it is?
No. Nobody knows what the fuck it is. But there's a bunch of people dying similar ways. We can't connect the dots quite. And you managed to know anybody named Carew Swinton?
I mean, I've heard about the old man Carew who used to live up by Matt and Cleve. He was kind of a pissant of a man.
Yeah.
But I don't know any Swintons though. I've never heard of a family of that name. I mean, from the look of her, like, they look to be maybe teenagers. So the Swintons would have died when they were like 4. So.
Well, kids, stay safe. Figure out something else to do, and hope your brother doesn't die, for real. But we'll let you know if we figure anything out. So stay findable, but stay out of trouble.
Well, I guess we'll try.
And before we leave, I'm gonna hand them a handful of money.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what? How much are you tossing their
I'm
way?
gonna give them 10 gold pieces.
Damn. Okay.
I don't want these kids robbing anybody.
All right. So you hand them a small satchel with these gold pieces in it, and um, you can see like she doesn't know what to like do with this gift. Um, like this is beyond anything that they'd gotten off of any passing travelers and things like that, and this will help their little group live for a bit without having to do anything, and hopefully be able to find something in that time that's something else to do.
Good. I don't want them to rob anymore.
All right. But yeah, the mystery continues. We don't know what this affliction is, and we don't know how to deal with it.
I feel like we have more questions than answers, even though we've looked into things.
Yeah, like we have all these little weird references to stuff. This horse, flame, some night lady. Seems like we have some things to look into.
I wonder if the night lady, like, what that's associated with. Like, is that some kind of local lore, or?
Could be, yeah, worth looking into and trying to do some research.
Yeah, I guess when we get to Carrick, we're gonna have to look into literal nightmares. Like if it's a lady and it's a horse, it's a mare, and it comes at night. It's a nightmare, and people have nightmares. We got a fucking nightmare in our hands, guys.
Woo!
That was a terrible joke.
Who's joking?
Nightmare, no joke.
Who's fucking joking? People are dying here. People are dying, and you think it's funny?
They're dying of puns! Dear God!
What a way to go.
That's been Honker's, like, fucking MO. There's bodies stacked behind Honker's puns.
God damn. Every joke that Honker has told this whole campaign has killed another person.
Why do you think I secretly am scared out of my mind of him?
Oh, man.
I assume you were scared of him because of, the, screaming and the birthing different dolls and the explosions.
And the
Oh,
face.
yeah, that's what y'all see. But inside, I'm like, someday, Honker's gonna kill us all.
But like, that they'll do it out of love, like with their own reasons, and you will deserve it, and it will be freeing for you.
You'll die and you'll be like,
yeah.
yeah.
They'll have dolls that like pretty much resemble us afterwards.
Oh God, this campaign's gonna end just like Honker just playing with a bunch of dolls.
Yeah, it's literally gonna be like me and my entourage, and we're singing like "Ring Around the Posy." We're holding hands and like dancing in a circle. And in the middle of the circle is a pyre with the party.
Have you?
The reveal at the end of the campaign is actually it's just all like a sad clown's mental breakdown and hallucination.
God.
Just having a tea party with a bunch of dolls.
Oh man, that would be so fucking.
I would watch that movie.
We saved the world again, gang. Whee!
Whee! Another cup.
We tell funny stories on our way to Carrick. The bag of nightmares to research.
Indeed. So yeah, you guys take your leave of the Bitter Truth bandit camp here, and their bit of pall of doom hanging over her brother, and make your way the rest of the way to Carrick. With kind of that weighing on your mind.
Before we leave,
yeah.
I use my newfound shameless request to convince what's her name, Tingebrin,
Tanessa,
Dingaling, that if they're gonna be called the Bitter Truth, she has to have a really cool bandit name, and the bandit name should be Red Pill.
Oh man. I feel like after what's happening with her brother, it's gonna be the black pill.
We're not there yet. I'm working towards breaking a soul. Okay, we're just.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Tonight is just like becoming so unhinged.
Well, it is a clown campaign with ancient dinosaur wizards and shit.
Don't
So
remind me. Let me cling to the last bit of my sanity.
something normal will happen.
I'm not really sure what you expected to be normal when our party is two goblins, a living doll, and a a monk with a death fetish.
Look, I just thought maybe there'd just be one night we'd sit by the fire eating peanut butter in silence.
I'm allergic to peanut butter. How do you not know this about me?
More
Gotta
for
be,
me.
Oh.
gotta be honest, guys. I still wish they would have shot at me.
Yeah, me too.
My point
I was gonna eat her
stands.
face.
Let's just keep walking.
Yeah, you guys.
Imagine how much they would have shit themselves when I caught it.
Oh
You know, I'm
man,
pretty
that
sure
would have
Braz
been.
has just intensely high blood pressure hanging out with you people.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So amidst all of this rousing conversation, you guys get back All right. So, wake up the next morning in Carrick. What do we want to look into while we're here?
I want to look into that night lady or whatever. See if we can find out anything like lore about her.
Okay. All right. I guess where do you want to look for that kind of thing?
I guess is there like a library or like a hall of records or something of that nature?
Let's see.
I don't know exactly where to find this.
Big building full of dorks.
Yes, we need a big building full of dorks.
All right. So there is like a small library in Carrick. And you guys decide to head over there and see if you can find anything about this sort of thing, this night lady or spooky horse or whatever else is going on with that. So let's see.
I mean, I'm like 3 feet tall. Every horse is spooky to me.
Fair. Oh, geez, what was it? I saw this post about there was some like horse that was like one of the horses in like the Queen of England's like cadre of horses or something. And I guess it was a bit of like a psychopath because it would drop oats on the ground in front of it to like get birds to come eat the oats, and then it would stomp on them.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And eventually like the people taking care of the horse caught on to this behavior, and they had to go like take the horse somewhere for like try to retrain it psychologically somehow or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it would just bait birds to murder them.
Tell me that's not learned behavior. Like,
yeah, I kind of want to know like where the fuck that idea came from.
That's
Like,
not something a horse would just naturally do or learn.
yeah, fucking wild. Like, goddamn.
I mean, whales will do it, but like whales will eat birds, so.
Yeah. All right, so.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that horse tonight now.
Well, if you start feeling really drained, then we have a problem.
I'm in my 30s and I work in healthcare. I always feel drained.
Well, shit.
Oh, next.
Oh man. All right.
Anyways.
So go ahead and if you guys are looking around the library here, go ahead and roll a. I guess a lore check. I guess this would be lore. Why not? We don't get to roll lore a lot.
No, we don't.
I got lore theater.
Hot damn, look at that roll.
Hot
Already
damn.
plays about this horse.
You find a play called Ecus. And nude pictures of Daniel Radcliffe for some reason.
It's naked Harry Potter.
Guys, I cracked it. We've blown the case wide open.
I'd say I could alternatively roll occultism, but that was a pretty good roll.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see some of the books that you guys find in here looking around. We'll start with Honker and Garotus. Honker, you find a book called Beholders and Other Totally Fake Myths. And it is what it says on the cover. It details a variety of completely imaginary, fantastical monsters that supposedly the author has made up for the amusement of the reader yourself. These things could never possibly exist. Totally
love
fake. It wasn't real. It didn't happen. Let's see. Grotus, let's see. Dun-dun-dun. Okay, this one's pretty good. So you find a book which seems to be some kind of self-help book, but it's titled "So Your Backstory is Tragic: An Adventurer's Starting Guide."
Not me. I fucking love my dad.
My parents are very alive, and they love me, and we have a great relationship. But yes, this seems to go into detail on the first steps to going out into the wilds as a adventurer with a sordid past of sadness and sorrow. Let's see. Maz and Braz. Let's see. You. Let's see. Maz, you find a book called Morden Cayenne's Tome of Peppers, which is an agricultural tome by the so-named Morden Cayenne, with various cultivation methods for spicy peppers. And Braz, you find a book that seems to be... It is a book called the Encyclopedia Druidica, which seems to be a book with various knowledge of beasts and nature things and whatnot. And you do find like just a small mention in here about dark horses being, specifically dark horses with like flame, being omens of being omens of some kind of creature of the... Where is it here? Some kind of creature of the ethereal plane. It doesn't specifically mention what, but there's an omen of some sort of ethereal thing. So you at least have that to go on. Some denizen of another plane. But that seems to be about the extent of mentions about this. Which, if that is the case, then it is something from another plane. You know, kind of understandable. There might not be a lot of books on the topic.
Yeah.
Just rumors. At least in this library, but it's something at least.
Interesting.
Is there like an old ass woman in this town who like knows all the stories of everything? Like, everybody goes to her when they want to know something. You know, like she's got all the tea.
Okay.
Those type of people always know all the town lore.
All right. So you inquire around a bit, about. Well, I guess not so much inquire around, but you kind of go around town a bit, trying to find the hangout spots for the old ladies. Where do they gather in the day? What are their activities?
Where did they come from?
Yeah, where do they go? What David Attenborough's hiding in the bushes discussing their actions at these little tables at cafes. Here we see the
We have to move very slowly so we don't startle them.
Yeah. But you eventually find out from asking around a few like little cafes and tea shops and whatnot, where you run into some of these elderly gals. The one to talk to, who knows all the business, is an older woman called Gertie Weatherly, and there is a kind of a small bakery on the west end of town that she likes to hang out at during the day with some of her friends. And so you head over there and find Gertie and her friends kind of relaxing at a table out front, gossiping about the local tea, as it were, as you approach.
All right. Best behavior, everybody.
You're all gonna die! Soon, because you're old!
Nobody say that. I directly look at Hunker when I say that.
All right.
Okay, go up to these lovely ladies and introduce ourselves.
And she kind of looks at you over, and she's like, "Oh, you're from the circus. Yes, we went and saw the lovely show you guys all put on just a few days back. Very good, very good. That was quite entertaining."
Well, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I was wondering, if I could ask you something, maybe a strange question, but perhaps you could indulge me.
Of course.
Do you know anything about a night lady or flaming horses? Is there any stories around these parts about things like that?
Night ladies, huh? Well, I mean, I guess you are carnival folk. I guess you guys might partake in the carnal pleasures of the night. There might be some night ladies here in the town. I can't say I've been to any of them myself.
Let me rephrase. I'm not talking about hookers.
Oh, okay.
That was my bad. I should have clarified that.
Excuse me, Grandma. Where are the hookers?
Okay, that's really funny because that's so a question that I could have asked my grandpa when he was alive, and he would have known the answer.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Oh my god. Okay.
Man,
Moving on. Moving on.
D&D session is wild.
So that's what we strive for around here.
Look, we've had some time off. All the juices are churning. We just gotta let it all out.
Oh. Right, but yeah, Gertie kind of blinks at you, smiling, being like, "What kind, then?"
Maybe otherworldly night ladies.
Well, like wizards and witches and fey creatures and strange things like that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of strange ladies in those kind of tales, but I can't think of any one in particular that comes to mind. But why is there? Did you see something weird out in the woods, or?
I mean, I'm in a circus. I see lots of weird things on a daily basis.
True. But
Well, to be honest with you, Gertie, we're trying to help figure out all these deaths that have been happening lately. Some of the people that have died have had some interesting nightmares before passing.
Oh, all the strange deaths. Yes, there have been an odd number of them in the past, like several months or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but yes, I remember hearing about all the deaths, and many unexpected.
Did you know any of the people who passed?
Oh, I did know some of them. There were a few that were around here in Carrick. Uh, None of them I knew like particularly closely, but just being around town as long as I have, I knew about them, and they did work around town. They had the various things that they did, and and then they passed away. But I don't remember hearing anything about nightmares or things like that. You say they all had these strange dreams?
Well, we've heard of some instances.
It sounds like if it's something with dreams, that maybe it seems like something that would be from maybe like a creature that affects dreams, or maybe this. You said there was like a horse or something, right? Maybe it's some kind of horse creature that affects dreams, or was there any?
Seems to be connected to somebody's deep and abiding hatred of somebody else, brought out by enmity, disgust,
hate,
revulsion.
Well, I know if I'm thinking of very hateful creatures. I mean, I don't know about dreams and horses and stuff, but usually the real nasty ones are things like a hag, things like that. Those are usually very spiteful creatures. But I don't know about a horse being involved with that. But I can't really say I know too much about them. But I mean, everyone knows tales about the strange hags and deals and things, and then they terrible things happen to the people who decide to do work with them or something like that. But I don't really know what they're capable of, and I don't think they're a horse, but I know those are at least very spiteful.
I'll be honest, guys. I had absolutely no plan going to talk to this lady. It just came to me. So if any of you want to ask her anything. If not, I'm buying this woman a treat and we're leaving.
All right.
Gertie, it has been just an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I really hope to see you at another show.
Well, if you do another one, that would be delightful. And I hope that you can find what you need with the night ladies. And she kind of giggles.
Gertie is officially my favorite NPC.
All right, well, she enjoys the I guess what thing from the bakery did you buy, Gertie?
What was she eating when we came in?
Well, she was currently in the middle of like just drinking something or other, some kind of tea or something like that.
Okay, I am gonna go get her a giant cinnamon sticky bun.
Good choice. Good choice. All right. Well, she definitely enjoys the cinnamon sticky bun. That's for sure. And she shares some with her friends that she's sitting with there as well. It is a big sticky bun.
Good people.
It's a big sticky bun. She's an old lady. You know, they got the the senior portions at Perkins. So the 55 plus menu we're ordering off here. Get that AARP discount. All right. All right.
All right, I have no other leads here.
Okay. And we did have, we do have some, information. We haven't talked to Opper. We haven't presented any of this to him.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, let's go visit him again.
Okay. All right. So you guys have been, going around town like about half a day or so, and you guys, make your way back over to the Vandy house, and you find Mr. Vandy in there. Like you go inside and kind of head to like where his office is, and you find him in there, kind of working on some paperwork. And he looks up at you all as you come in. He says, "Oh, hello, welcome back. Have you found anything interesting? I'm afraid there's been another."
Was it that bandit boy?
Was he a bandit? Did you know him? All I know is I had another terrible nightmare last night with the little girl, and the coffin and everything, and this morning I was had a young man brought in. He's in the visitation room right now, but he was brought in by some young folk.
We better go make sure that's him.
Okay. So you kind of duck out of the office here and head back over to the visitation room, where there is a casket, currently closed, sitting on kind of the middle table there, the viewing table. Crack it open.
Yeah.
All right, you crack it open. Yeah, that's definitely Tanner.
Damn it.
Told him he was gonna die. I was right.
Yeah, I was hoping we had more time though.
No.
But yes, it seems another victim has been claimed by whatever the fuck this is.
Ugh.
So as you're kind of looking over the body here, Mr. Vandy comes in and kind of dusts off his his jacket that he has on. He says, "Did you know the boy at all? It seems like you were familiar with him or something."
He was a robber on the road. He tried to rob us, but he was just silly, so we laughed. And then told him he was gonna die.
Well, technically, he didn't try to rob us. He was sitting in a tent.
Oh, was he ill? Was there some malady that was afflicting him?
Yeah, but we couldn't figure it out.
Well, I haven't quite yet gotten to the embalming process or a full autopsy, but I can take a look and see if there was anything I can find out. But you weren't able to. You said you looked him over. There wasn't anything that you could find. Was there anything at all? Anything out of sorts?
Not that we could determine. We gave him complete look over, physical exam, asked him lots of questions.
He
Nothing.
was having bad dreams, and that's it.
Bad dreams.
Horse.
A horse.
Yeah, he said it was like had dark eyes and was like looked really crazy, and I told him, "Hey, horses don't look like that. Horse is a horse, of course." And he didn't believe me, and then he died.
That's not at all what happened.
Yeah, it is.
You didn't say any of that.
You don't know me.
I was there.
That's my purse. I don't know you. Oh, jeez. Yeah, like at this mention of dreams, Opera, seems kind of interested in this. He says, I mean, I can't say I've ever seen a horse, but dark eyes. I mean, the little girl that I see in my dreams before this happens, like she also has dark eyes. They're like a void where they are. I wonder if they are related somehow. Has anyone? Do you know if anyone else had things like this? Did others have dreams? I know there hasn't been, aside from the one that was here when you first arrived. This is the first one since then. But have you heard of anything else like this?
Trying to remember, had we at all?
Yeah, like the
Okay.
like the trio of kids that you guys got into the circus. Their grandma had somewhat recently passed away, but she had reported having some kind of strange nightmares before she died.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so I'll tell him. There was that one grandma lady, and she was having them too. It was terrible.
And
Andy, you ever know a guy named Old Kuru?
well, yes, of course. I mean, I told you about his farm. He was the first one of these strange deaths. He 14 months ago, when I first had one of these dreams with the child, that was the time that he passed away. It doesn't sound like he was very much missed. I can't say I knew him very well, but nobody came to see him, and all I've ever heard of him since then is people didn't seem to like him very much.
You ever have any business dealings with him, or near business dealings with him?
With Kuru? I can't say that I have. Not with him. The only dealings I ever had with him was, his interment.
What about a family named Swinton?
Swinton. Well, I did know them quite some time ago. I know there was some terrible accident that befell poor Roger. That was nearly 10 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, but we think it's related.
Because of the ghost that whispers about it.
A ghost? About Roger?
Yeah, about the Swintons.
Well, what did they say?
I will honk my nose and then start pacing and grumpily act that out.
Okay, so you kind of you kind of recount this raving of old man Kuru's spirit about the Swintons and this acre and something about Vandy and blood money or whatever, and he, as you're kind of telling this ranting of this spirit, you can see that he seems to be getting visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
I mean, yeah, Pretty much everybody gets uncomfortable when Honka talks.
That's fair. But yeah, as you kind of finish recounting the ravings of this spirit, you can see he kind of like pulls a handkerchief out of his pocket and like kind of wipes it on his face a bit, and it's like, that's certainly something.
Does this seem familiar to you?
Roll me a diplomacy.
I argue that because I, before when I told him about it, I acted it out, and it was a performance check, so I could use my performance check.
Okay,
for the
okay,
diplomacy
okay. Yeah. All right, all right. Let's see. So you kind of continue pressing him on this recounting of this spirit, and he kind of hurriedly sits down in a chair nearby here in the viewing room, and he says, I think there is a bit more of this tale you should probably know. I don't know if it will help, but this is something that I've carried for a long, long time. And he kind of invites you all to pull up some chairs, because he's got a bit of a yarn for you here. So, he kind of straightens up in his chair here, and he's like, I guess let's start before I came to Carrick properly. I was the son of a gravedigger in Absalom, and my father, he died young with a broken body and nothing to his name after a life of hard work, and I wanted more than just digging holes. That was all that he did. He was the gravedigger. And having worked with the morticians in Absalom and helping my father, I had some familiarity with the funeral trade. But the market for my skills in Absalom was fairly cornered by the many churches that are there in the big city. So my skills were pretty well covered by these churches and the well-established mortuaries that had been there for centuries. And I didn't really have the means to buy myself an apprenticeship with a larger operation. I didn't really have an aptitude for the clergy, and so I decided to look beyond the city walls to the rest of the Isle of Kortos to find a locale that might need my services. And so I packed the few things that I had in my father's funeral caisson, and I hitched an old mule, and I traveled northwest of Absalom, and arrived here in Carrick. This was nigh on 15, 20 years ago or so. And the town's undertaker here had recently passed away, just of old age, of natural causes. He'd done it all of his life, and he was, well up into, many decades of life. But he'd recently died, and there was an opportunity to set myself up here as the new mortician for Carrick and for the Swordlands. And although I didn't have a lot to my name, like I said, my father died young and didn't have a lot of money, and I'd kind of used all that I had to get my things together and to get here in the first place. So I struggled at first to find the funds to open this funeral parlor, and there was a decently wealthy and kind-hearted local farmer who was named Roger Swinton, and he stepped in and he offered me a loan to help me get my funeral business off the ground, people die all the time. It's something that, the area needed. We can't just let people rot. They have to be properly taken care of, properly buried. There's a whole process to it. It was something that we couldn't just let wait. So
Of
he,
course.
yeah, so he agreed to the loan privately, with a simple handshake, and I promised to repay him in 5 years' time. So before the loan came due, Roger died, unfortunately, in a farming accident. And when the time came for repayment after the 5 years, he was gone, and all that we had of our agreement was our handshake and our verbal agreement. And his wife and children, they knew nothing of this loan that he had extended to me. And my business was still new. We were still struggling to get by. We were just barely making ends meet at the time, and repaying the loan would have seriously hurt my chances to remain solvent at the time. And when the 5 years came and none of the rest of the Swinton family came to request repayment of the loan, I reasoned that I could just keep it quiet and delay a few years to pay it back later with greater interest. I did not want to do him wrong, but I wanted a little more time to get funds and some extra to pay him back for his great kindness to me, and there would be no harm done. But unbeknownst to me, the Swinton farm had fallen on some hard times, and I only really learned of this several years later, when there was a plague at the time that went around the land, and it took Roger's wife and his young daughter, and the farm came into the hands of the only heir left to the family, which was his wayward son, Yungor. And it went into arrears under Yungor Swinton's mismanagement, and ultimately it had to be auctioned off. But I didn't hear of any of this until even months after that happened, when Yungor unexpectedly died because he had drowned in a river local up there to Matt and Cleve near his home. He was drunk and fell into the water, and well, that was that. And that was the end of the Swintons. Their line was no more. Roger was gone, his wife and child were gone by the plague, and his only son taken by his follies. So, with this being the case, and this loan never repaid, and now no one to pay it to, I was... And also finding out all this information about the financial troubles they were in that I did not know about, and the mother dying and the child and everything else, I was sick with guilt over the family's misfortunes, and that I had some part in unknowingly exacerbating them because I withheld this payment. I did not know that they were in such dire need of that to be repaid, and there was no one left to repay the money to, and I was ashamed. And so I just never talked about it, because who would I talk about it to? There was no one to pay. There was no one that knew except me and Roger, and he was gone. And so I decided to throw myself into efforts to better the community and give back. I joined the local Grange. I decided to, do more for the area, to help out with, the city and the people here, to try to do some good for the land around here, to try to absolve this debt that I could no longer pay. And even though I've done all of this, I felt that I could never, somewhere deep inside, I felt that I could never be the good, honest man that I once was. I was elected as Master of the Grange, quite some years ago now, but I've carried this shame the whole time. And I feel... I never actually met Roger's young daughter who died with the plague, like her mother, but I fear that the hollow-eyed girl in my dreams I feel that might be her ghost, punishing me for not paying back her father's loan. And I feel that somehow she is taking out this secret sin of mine on my neighbors. And I don't know what to do about it, if that is the case. But that like, nobody else would know. So
We
But-
heard of a Shumi from Fernie, not in Fernie, but they sing to the dead. Might soothe your little girl.
perhaps, yes. I mean, if you're able to meet this Shuni who sings to the dead, perhaps we can find out something from her. I mean, like I said, like I have more than enough to if they were still here now, I'd be able to pay them back tenfold. But yeah, I'm just kind of stuck in this place where things cannot be resolved as much as I would want them to, and so it just weighs. And I wonder if that is where this all came from. But what strikes me as interesting about these things you've told me here, it mentioned you said this ghost that you found at Crew's farm, correct? He it sounded like he knew of this. Like he said, he made these mentions of the Swintons and Roger and selling him stuff, and of me, and of this blood money, which I don't know how he would have known this. I never had any particular dealings with Mr. Carew, but perhaps my secret shame was not as secret as I had thought, and perhaps he knew and did something about it. I don't know. It sounded like he was a bitter man, so perhaps that hatched into something else. I don't know. But all of it feels like something I cannot fix.
Yeah, you really kind of fucked things up, didn't you?
It
This
seems,
one's a doozy.
yeah, it seems that I did. And yet more people are dying. Here in this very room. This young man, not even to the year of 20, it seems. Passes away for no reason. But perhaps the reason is me somehow. This unresolved debt. But I don't know. It seems strange that the Swintons were such a lovely bunch. They were a very kind family, and they were so good to me in those early years when I first moved here. And although I never met their youngest daughter, as far as I knew, his wife, they didn't know about the loan, so we had no ill will there between each other. So it seems strange that their young child that I've never met would have some such vengeance towards me over this. Like that does that not strike you as odd? That someone involved somewhat, being part of the family, but being so young and nobody that I'd never met face to face. Like, why would they have such vengeance against me? Aside from the obvious reason, but that doesn't seem to connect in my mind, does it not?
Also, why so many years later?
That too. That does also strike me as strange, because it has been a decade and some since the Swintons met their tragic fate, and suddenly in this past year all of these strange things have happened. But that also does not make sense to me. If that is the case, that it's some extremely vengeful ghost that thinks that taking the debt out of the life of my neighbors will do something, that doesn't strike me as right. I feel there's something else afoot here, but I don't know how to fix it.
Well, if you think of anything else relevant, be sure to let us know. Maybe we can stop a few more people from dying before they should.
Of course. And if you need to look around my my parlor here, My embalming lab, anything, like if there's anything you need from me, feel free to take a look. I've told you all of my shames. There's nothing more to tell. I am an open book, and so is my home. I just want
Too
this
bad you
debt to
weren't
be
open
paid.
earlier.
A lot of people would have lived, huh?
I guess so. It is a weight that I will carry to my own grave, I guess. But I hope that I can at least do some other kind of good to offset it if I can. But please, if you wouldn't mind continuing to see if you can find anything else about these these dreams, this horse. I don't recall them having like a dark horse, anything like that. That they did have some animals, of course, on their farm, but nothing quite so striking. But I do hope you can find some other information in your travels. All right. And I think with the tale of that there, I think we're gonna call that good for tonight. And we'll think on that bit of info before we kind of continue on our way down to Castonley, I believe, to see what we can find out down there. The hole digs deeper.
And Caston Lee hole digs you.
I knew this guy was up to something from the start. What kind of gravedigger wants to do stuff for the community?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Fair. All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. This was a lot of this was a lot of fun. This is a good, fun little session here. It's definitely nice after.
Unhinged.
Yeah, it was definitely nice after this weird week. We had like some layoffs and shit where I work earlier this week, so that was kind of sucky. Had some,
Yeah, that always.
It puts you in a weird funk.
yeah,
doesn't it?
I've been in like we found out about that stuff on like Tuesday, and there were some people that were gone that had been with us longer than I had been there. Like I've been there like 10 years almost, and some of the people that were let go were they're longer than me.
Yep.
And so it's like, damn,
Yep.
that's kind of shitty. But yeah, good stuff. We'll pick this up then in 2 weeks and see what else we can dig up on this little cavalcade of debauchery. And we'll see if we can get we'll make you a new character sheet, Riz, and get that sorted so you don't keep having a broken sheet. Jeez.
Yeah.
So weird. Alright, well, I will get this all taken down here, and then if we're gonna do some Phasma or whatever, and I'll see you guys over there.
All right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
5-10 minutes to transition.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, take your time. I told the other guy just a little bit after 9 is when we'd be ready. So
Yeah, I figured.
take a break, stretch your legs, all that stuff.
Cool. Alright. Alright, well, for those of you out there watching, thanks for coming. Fun little session here we had tonight. Let's go see who is on. Oh, Steph's going. Let's go rate Steph. They're playing Little Kitty Big City. Up the game. Oh, I forgot to turn that bot on, so it's not going to have the command. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to go raid stuff then. Bye!